Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and we'll go back to the next episode review of Chain Soldier Season 2, Episode 24. So, now after all is said and done now, so everything's back to the threat of the Thunder God still on the loose though. So now that Mira, thanking, Yuki and and Kyoko for saving her, and then also Yuki goes over to see his big sister and her two friends, thanking them, for saving them as well. And also he also thanks Tanka because Tanka was solo, on her own, giving her the very first episode of this season, like she's been given his sister, accessories, right? Because they don't want any in the self defense force to know about his sister and the others, about becoming, could do the experiments, right? So that's why she made a version after the battle's over, up in the real world, that where she helped them escape through the manhole, so no one would in the public would see them, right? So she's been doing this on her working this on her own, giving her accessories and stuff like that. So trying to keep them a secret until they figure out what the self defense force is up to, right? So Yuki thanks Tanka for that, and so and so now that now with the other gods, still a problem. So now they want to train more because Kyoka is willing to lend Yuki with the other, to lend him her slave powers. He can get more different forms, right? So they need the other power, extra power where they can get, like for a type of advantages they may have. So, and now Mira has the chance to use Yuki, right? And so in his slave form, which is pretty cool, he becomes like a badass motorcycle, which that is pretty cool, right? It is a cool design how he becomes like a motorcycle, and so he goes very fast, and one of the usages of it that it's so the motorcycle noise, the engine is so very loud that all the noise the Shuki can't stand the loud noise, so that's like an advantage right there. So as the noise is a distraction, so they can take him out, and so yeah, so that's one of the big another PowerPoint for the defense force to have for Yuki, right? So yeah, he can now with Mirror he can transform into a cool looking motorcycle, and so um and after all that though, um they go back. They head to the second squadron's dorm, and so hey, let's just sit in the jeep, And so now with Mirror's reward, well, first of all, they have a drink inside the jeep, and well, here, why don't you take mine? And of course, with Mirror, being embarrassed, like, oh, it's an indirect kiss, right? So he drinks her drink, and she'll drink his drink, and then more to the reward is that, of course, in the jeep, and which then you get the ref the, which I found very funny. You get the reference to Titanic because remember in Titanic when the Jack and Rose were in the car, right? And Rose puts her hand on the steamed up glass, leaving the hand imprint. Yeah, so you get your Titanic reference there when Mira does the same thing, right? I'm like, I had to give a chuckle on that. Okay, okay. So there's a which I would have thought they'll use a reference from Titanic to in a show like this, right? So yeah, of course, if anyone knows about Titanic, you would get the reference, right? Putting the hand on the steamed window, right? Which didn't look like any reason for the window to be fogged up to begin with. So, but yeah, there's your big. If it was you see the Titan your Titanic reference right there, and so and well, let's say Kuka is really willing to let everyone else to lend her slave ability for to use Yuki, for like I said, for any other advantage, right? And so and then the Supreme Commander comes over and comes over and here, you cooked dinner, here, I'll have some. And then Yuki said, hey, he was saying, even the Supreme Commander, how the way she eats her dinner is kind of cute. And so Supreme Commander Ren, still that she still is embarrassed and humiliated for what she went through on that reward of his, of her acting like a dog, right? So she tried to do was like, hey, you come here, right? You're my dog, right? And she tried to do like the whole thing with Yuki, with the whole doggy, ethic techniques, with the dog, right? And so he's like, she's dissatisfied with it. It's like, nah, it's not the same. So it's like, I gotta discipline you even with that in that Shuki form, right? Then no, so I'll discipline you in that form, and so that way it'll be much more satisfying because earlier she got a collar for him, right? And she goes and she's still dissatisfied. She goes and just flies off, all in dissatisfaction because she's never gonna get over that embarrassing, humiliating experience. Because since she's a Supreme Commander, no one should be she shouldn't be acting like, well, since she looks down at everyone thinking that their dogs are, but to someone to act like such irony, for her to be acting like a dog and be embarrassed by it. Well, I was like, you know what, you deserve it then. Because it's like all those other ones that have such huge egos, thinking they're better than everyone. Oh, one little embarrassing thing happens to them, with such irony. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna take that. I am not gonna take that. Everyone is beneath me. Nothing shall like that ever happen to me. Well, you know what? Add a touch of irony to that, and guess what? You deserve it. And then we get back when then we go back with the gods, the gods and their hideout, right? And so they're so saddened by the loss of Kyosetsu, right? But they don't know that she still exists in Yuki's mind, though. So, but they don't know that though. So they assume that now she's dead. And now we see the other remaining gods, right? Including one that is very like a exact duplicate, or you can say a clone of the Supreme Commander, right? I mean, she's except the different skin tone, hair color. But she wears the same like ribbon in her hair, right? And almost the same uniform, but different color change. That was like, wait, something happened because like, wait, is that a clone of her? Something went wrong, Because they say there was these other henchmen, right? There were former humans that want to become gods, right? So was it the unholy something? I forget it was. It was like the unholy or unholy something for these other beings here. Like I said, former humans that want to become gods. So Medusa, I still forget her name, the one with the snake hair, right? She's now kicking herself that she should have went with her Kyosetsu instead of having her going off by herself, right? And so all the other remaining gods they gather together on now they have their own little table, like how all the commanders they have their little table meetings. Right now we see the gods have their own little table meeting, right? So all the main gods and which except the main leader, they want to have a plan to decimate the rest of the demon force. So And now they have like there's a shot where there's this final shot where all the gods are together. And it's basically like well the title of this episode is called the title of this episode is called Gods Assemble. So it's like yeah, it's like what your Avengers assemble instead of Gods Assemble. It's like Avengers Assemble. Well, these are your Dark Avengers, your God Avengers. You could say God Avengers Assemble. Which that's gonna be that you'll see because that's gonna be the thumbnail of this video. So it's like in the title of me saying Gods Assemble, instead of like, or maybe I should put it Avengers Assemble because that's basically the clear reference, right? All of them together doing like this, and it's like it's an Avengers Assemble saying, So, but yeah, but episode 24 of Chain Soldier season 2, right? It was fun, like now we see Mira with her powers with Yuki, cool motorcycle, your Titanic reference with the hand on the window, and then with more with Tenga and Yuki's sister, and there's even more with the sisters friends, right, where Yuki gives the two friends massages, like, oh, I feel so stiff. Oh, now I feel much better now. And then after that, we see with the Supreme Commander, still humiliated, still embarrassed, and then we see with all the remaining gods, right now, just Avengers Assemble. So, but yeah, it's still a good episode though. So I think there's one more afterwards, because the way it's going, it has to be a third season because all the gods are still out there. So then they're still preparing to fight again. So it has to be a third season. Which they haven't said anything yet though, but I'm gonna wait until after the last episode goes. So, which I think is they said that because after, sorry, nose a little runny. But well, it was like with Osho which I thought would be how the last episode would be the finale, but since consider it was an hour-long episode, but now that after I was watching, well, no, this has to be a 4th season, right? Because they have to make the movie now, so yeah, if there's gonna be a 4th season of Ocean the way they used to go with this, it has to be a 3rd season now, so because now they have to fight the remaining gods, like all these other powerful gods. So, yeah. But anyway, this is another good episode as well. So, regardless of that, so Avengers Assemble on both sides. Gods Assemble, Defense Force Assemble. It's basically all Avengers Assemble. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time. Later.